Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
My pleasure now to welcome from the Greater Wellington Regional Council, the Kapiti representative, Penny Gaylor. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I hope we're all, keeping warm. I feel like winter's kind of actually arrived. Had a couple of fires, which is very nice and nice comfort and a bit of a nice change at this stage of the lockdown. We're trying to have a bit of a refresh. What do we do differently? Having a fire was lovely.
Well, that certainly is a bit of a change, but it seems to me as if the work within the Greater Wellington Regional Council continues apace. You've got your annual plan, which I imagine you must be getting towards the last laps on at the moment.
Yes, so the last laps of then, coming out with a draft. So our next council meeting in the next few weeks, we'll put a draft out, and that for local government, for councils all around the country, you then have to present your draft annual plan to the public. There's sort of always different scales of how much consultation you do. This kind of annual plan at this stage will be lower key consultation, shall we say. Everybody's pretty preoccupied, as we well appreciate. And then, of course, next year is where we do a long-term plan, which is our really big push on consultation with our community. But, this is a draft document. So when it comes out, when we voted on a draft document, that is absolutely for people to give us give your feedback on. That can be, any part of it or all parts of it. And I always say to people, even just one sentence about one element of it. If you have a view on something, we do want to hear from you. So that's something that'll be coming up. Just as the local council has signed off on its draft annual plan, all councils do it at the exact same time. Now, I know there was in the media about the Wellington City Council have signed off on their draft annual plan.
And we hear that the Horowhenua district plan is coming out shortly. And in fact, the consultation is well underway with that. And I was hearing an hour ago from Bernie Wandon that, in fact, they were surprised with the amount of public submissions, more than ever, and this is just the annual plan, so, not exactly the main event with the long-term plan coming up as it is with you. And he was saying they've got over 300 submissions and good submissions as well. So you never know. People may have used the break to think about where they want to go.
Yeah. And, it's a time for everybody throughout our district and our region and our country to, so many people have got huge, big financial changes in their personal circumstances, for their business. This is a time where councils really have to, get real, should I say. Yeah. But then at the same time, there's the balance of that of going, well, but part of the recovery is investing into our communities, because when we spend money as a council on doing the new bit of infrastructure on schedule versus delaying it because we don't want to spend the money, but by doing it on schedule means that local contractors get to have work. So, you might go, delay, but then again, it actually, doing a bit of your infrastructure, whether it be underground or above ground or whatever, actually is, if it's infrastructure build, it is employing people, it is getting our local business to do something in the community and keeping them in business. So, just the other kind of flip side of that argument. And, we do want progress. We do want things that matter to, all of us about, the quality of our rivers, the quality of our drinking water, the quality of our, all three waters, in fact, and the facilities that we have as a community matter to us, because that's the stuff that when we're out of lockdown, what will we be doing? Where will we be going? We'll be doing things very much in our local hood, and whether that's driving down a local road, walking it, biking it, getting back to a local pool, won't that be lovely? Getting back to the library, that'll be lovely. Yeah, so, all those things that a council does that when we've burst out of our lockdown, in a managed way, we'll be able to enjoy those facilities again. And that's the investment that a council, your local council, puts into your community.
I've been listening to you intently, and it seems that you've become a real politician, Penny. You've got a bob each way. I'm trying to glean from what you're saying whether the proposed budget from the Greater Wellington Regional Council is going to be more or less along as it has been in recent years, which, let's face it, has cost more money, or whether you're looking to restricted spending this year.
Oh, no, we've definitely, our discussions so far have been in workshops. No decisions are made, but we are certainly have put the word in to staff that we were not wishing as elected representatives to have the increase that had been projected to happen this coming year in our long-term plan.
Right.
So that is most definitely the guidance we have, the clear direction, rather, is more so than guidance. The clear direction we have as councillors given to officers. So there, perhaps the delay has been that they've had to go back again and, as they say, sharpen the pencils, but actually assess what can be delayed, what can be put off, whatever. We are not of the view to have the increase that was projected in the long-term plan that we signed off on 2 years ago.
Right, okay, and then that's the trend of what's happening around the area, and so we'll await developments there. Of course, the other side of that is that there'll be some work that is curtailed. And do you think that will affect your environmental area of interest?
Well, yes, and that is the tension for us because, and these are very much the tone of the conversations we are having behind the scenes, is that but environmental projects matter to us, and delays there have bigger implications for us than just this year's budget. So that is the tension for us. Is we would love just when we were hoping to invest more into our natural infrastructure, this happens, and so the decisions got even harder for us. And
that's the reality of politics at the moment.
Yeah.
And what about your dealings with central government? Because I believe you've got some bids in there for work that central government hopefully may consider funding. How is that going?
Yes. So, listeners will be aware that the government has put out for organisations and particularly councils around the country have, really moved heaven and earth and very quickly to put in for infrastructure investment bids into government. And I gather by the close of play, kind of a week or so ago, it was 1,800 infrastructure bids. Now, obviously, Regional Council has already put in a bid well ahead of the pandemic. We put in a bid last year for government to invest, for example, in the Capital Connection replacement trains. So, that was already well ahead. Gosh, wouldn't it be lovely if it was, because it was the top of the list, it got its money. But, all sorts of things are in that mix. What we as a regional council have done as well, without actually being asked, we took some initiative, and our staff, in a very quick turnaround, pulled together what is our environmental natural infrastructure investment bid, and we have pitched that to government. And so that is things that would be shovel-ready in our region that regional council can do. And it was well thought of, shall I say. I had a recent Zoom meeting with a couple of colleagues and staff with a minister about this, that it was well thought of, in terms of how we'd presented ourselves and what we were considering, and how, because it's environmental things, that outcomes that will support job creation along the way. And of course, ultimately, the really important stuff also is that it delivers the government's previously stated goals around climate change, adaptation, mitigation, emissions reduction, all that sort of stuff. So that was, the focus of these particular environmental works that we were kind of gathering in, that, nothing particularly new in there. That was that stuff that we are doing that we'd hoped to do, but gosh, this is the opportunity to create some jobs and invest in our communities. And in fact, that was essentially, I guess, the government thought so, and have got us to take a leadership role with the other regional councils around the country, and they use other councils who were already thinking of along these lines as well, other smart people, but used our template essentially as a template right across the regional sector. And so, it makes sense for the bids that are coming in to actually look kind of similar, so they could then be assessed more easily for Treasury.
And easy to compare, of course, and work out who the winners may be. And as this is in the environmental area, I assume that you were involved in developing those bids, were you?
Yeah, so as chair of the Environment Committee, we've had a very, the whole environment for everybody's workplace, including councils, and, all the stuff on the run, really. Imagine, we've got people who are normally working in open plan, working together, creating all this stuff. Everybody's working at home in isolation, doing stuff on Zoom, thank goodness for emails and picking up the phone. So really impressive that our staff have generated this for us and on behalf of their community. Also keeping in mind that we want, the community projects that we need to benefit from this were shown as our priorities. We don't want them to make misguided calls on what would be, good within the communities. So, that's a case, the opportunity for us to state our claim on that, because I hope we know our communities, but also we know about the projects that need to happen. Also, regional councils can rightly say, this is the stuff we do. This is the stuff we're good at. We know who is good at doing it as subcontractors. So along with it might be shovel-ready, and we might immediately think of individuals that could be employed. What it means is it's actually people who can start a business to employ those people, replace their business, refocus their business, or people who, just have an existing business, and this secures work for them going forward.
Well, good luck in your bidding and excellent initiatives, and we hope to hear some good reports about where they've got in the foreseeable future. Now, I happen to know you've got yet another Zoom meeting coming up, so thank you very much for joining us this morning here on Beach FM.
Zooming everywhere.
You have been zooming, that's for sure. Thank you very much, Penny Gaylor.
106.3 Beach FM.